Hello, friends. We're off and running. Chapter 2 in our Algebra 2 book, and we're going to start getting into stuff that is not just a review of Algebra 1 now. And the thing I want to mention just at the beginning is that you're going to get a lot of new terms for things that you already know. So while the words may or may not be new, the ideas are things that we've already talked about and that you've already seen in Algebra 1 and geometry. So we're going to start talking about functions and relations. And you have a set of vocab here that you should know. So moving forward, after we cover this, I'm going to assume you know what all these things mean. Okay? And just to get you started, you got the red definition, but a relationship is any set of ordered pairs. And so any pair of numbers like an x and a y or any set of pairs of numbers is a relation. The function is the thing we're going to be more interested in. And this is just like the equations we've been doing. An equation in two variables just means it has an x and a y, and the y equals mx plus b in the tables we've looked at with the change in x and the change in y. When they say an equation in two variables, that's all they're talking about. The domain is going to be the set of all the x's, either for the graph, in the table, or that work in an equation or function. And again, equation and function are the same thing. And the range is a set of all y's. These are also called the inputs, and these are also called the outputs. All right, so I'm going to draw a little flow chart here that takes you through how this goes. So the x's are also called the inputs, and the domain, and later we will call them the independent variable. Independent variable. The y's are the outputs. They're also the range and the dependent variable. All right, let's see if I can change this one into words as well. There it is. Isn't that cool? All right, so this flow chart of terms, okay, these are things that mean the same thing, but you're going to see them, and you got to recognize anytime they say output, they're talking about the y's. Anytime they say range, they're talking about the y's. Dependent variable. It all comes just back to the y in that table or equation or graph that you've been looking at since you started pre-algebra, really. So what do you have to know? You have to know that any of these diagrams represent the same thing. Set of ordered pairs, this is x, this is y. Same thing in a table, same x, same y. On a graph, this is the point -2, +2. So it's right there. Get rid of that. Okay, so this one is the same as this, which is the same as this. And if it's written in a mapping diagram, which we really won't see this again after functions and relations, but it'll come up, and you'll be asked questions like, is this a function or a relation? So first and foremost right now, know that I got mapping diagrams, I got graphs, I got tables, I got ordered pairs, and they can all represent the same thing. So this right here is what all these ordered pairs look like in graph form. So let's get to what is the difference between a function and a relation. Okay, a function has exactly one output for every input. So when you look at this example here, every number, 2 goes to -1, only goes to one thing. -1 goes to 0. Now 3 goes to 0 also. It goes to the same thing, but the number 3 itself only has one output associated with it, as does the 6. When I look at this example, this is not a function for one reason, and this is the reason that the number 2 has an output of 2 and an output of 3. So this is not a function, and this is a function. You've got a practice problem here at the bottom, which again I will email you attached, and you should try to work this out. Now, even though the example I showed you is in the mapping diagram and these are ordered pairs, you should be able to give an explanation. Do every x in here have exactly one y associated with it? Yes or no? All right, I'm going to pick it up. I got one more podcast for you.